Good morning, and it's so good to see everyone. We made it through. It's almost the end of this month. Um, January is a difficult month, at least for me, it is because it's just a lot of things that I feel we have new beginnings and new things that we are ready to do. And then sometimes I feel anxious about, I'm going to use a word that sometimes just makes me feel anxious itself, the word should. Does that word sometimes make you feel anxious? So think about if I gave you a piece of paper and I said, I want you to write down, I should, and then just a blank, and then fill it in, right? I should, right? I'll name some of the things that I'm going to tell you. I should probably exercise more. I should maybe eat just a little bit better than I am. I should, and the list goes on and on and on. And then all of a sudden, I'm feeling really anxious about all the things that I should be doing. And in fact, sometimes we say that that's just an attitude, a shouldy attitude. And so, with that in mind, what if we kind of turned that word around and maybe used a different word like could? I could do that. Maybe I don't want to. So, another thing, as I was going through, and January usually is when I start to look around my house and I'm like, wow, I really need to tidy up, or I should be tidying up. I have a lot of stuff that's just kind of hanging out. All right. And as I'm looking around, I think, you open up a cupboard and go, oh, yeah, I guess I should. And there's that word again, I should hang on to this. And I'm like, why? I don't even like it. Does this happen to you at all? Or you're like, you open up something. I'll give you an example. I was going through some boxes after my mother passed, and I was thinking to myself, oh, I should hang on to these things. Maybe my kids will want them. And so then I asked my kids, do you want any of this stuff? And they're like, nope. And I'm like, hmm, okay. And then I think I should keep some of these things because they meant so much to my mom. But do they mean anything to me? Not really. I still have the memory of my mom, but those glasses or those plates or those dishes that meant so much to her and her grandmother, maybe not anything to me. So why should I hang on to that? Right? And so this is where sometimes we have anxiety that we build up right within us because we're putting this upon ourselves, that word should. And I I feel sometimes when I hear that word or I use that word in self-talk, it's almost like I've failed already. So I'm not going to use that word. I'm going to switch it and use the word could. Could. I could see if there's anyone else who might like these dishes. They're not doing me any good. I could choose to do this or this, not I should. So it's just something just a little thing that sometimes I know, tiny little change of the word, but that word should causes such anxiety, at least within in myself. And I was just thinking as I was going around like the house, looking at the clutter that accumulates. Am I the only one that has that? Do you have that? I do. I know. Everyone's just like, clutter? No, my house is perfect, like a magazine. But the clutter is unfinished business. And so that in itself is like, And so I could choose to just leave it there for a while until I'm ready to get to it, instead of I should be cleaning that up. So when we have all of that going on, that anxiety, that when we're putting it on ourselves, right? We start to feel our body just tensing up. I know I feel it in my stomach sometimes. I feel it just in my muscles. And so, what to do when you're feeling all of that anxiety right within you? And this is where then, when we do have, maybe just not with the word should, but just some of the other thoughts that we have that cause us to have anxiety, we hold a lot of it in our bodies. And it can be in, like I said, my stomach sometimes. Perhaps you don't get it in your stomach, maybe you get it in your lower back, or maybe you get it in your shoulders, or maybe your whole body just feels really tight. I know sometimes our jaws just ache when we're holding tight onto things. So we're going to be doing just a little mindfulness practice where we can just allow some of that feeling of like tenseness and tightness in our bodies just to hopefully just kind of dissipate. And then also, using your body will allow you to get so much out of the mind, because our mind needs a job to do. So if you are moving your body, then your mind is like, oh, I'm starting to move the body. So the first thing is just roll your shoulders back and down and notice, are they feeling just a little tight today? Maybe not. Sometimes the weather can affect that. Good. And maybe just lift one shoulder a little bit higher than the other and just notice. Maybe you're hearing sounds in your body. Sometimes I do. And roll them back again. Good. All right. Another thing, just take your hand and stretch it all the way out. Straighten your arm out. Good. So yes. And then you can take your hand and just gently pull your fingers back. And that's going to stretch the wrist a bit. Yeah. Just pull that back a little bit. And then relax the hand. Make a soft fist. You can put your other hand down in your lap. We're just going to gently roll the wrist around and then roll it in the other direction. And sometimes just that simple act can release some tension. Open your fingers, good, wide, and then relax them. Let's go to the other hand. You're going to stretch your arm out just the same way that you did on the one side. Stretch it out long. Then gently just pull your fingers. Your fingers are pointing up to the ceiling. Just gently pull your fingers back, and you can feel the stretch in the wrist. Good. And then you can put this hand down. Make a soft fist and gently just roll your wrist around again. Roll it in the opposite direction. And just notice any sensations that you're feeling. And then open your fingers wide. Good. And then relax. Good. Take a breath in and just let it out. Inhale. And just let it out through your mouth with a sigh of ah. Good. Do it again. Inhaling and exhaling. Good. The breathing is so important. And with using your breath, that can also just help bring your whole mind back into the body, so you can just feel the breath coming in and the breath going out. So let's just take a moment and focus on our breath. If you feel comfortable closing your eyes to do this, you can, or you can just keep them open and just follow along. So we're just going to be breathing in through our nose and out through our nose breathing, not trying to change the breathing pattern that you're doing right now, but just noticing the air coming in and the air going out. Just breathing in and breathing out. Notice what's going on now within the body as you just start to focus on the breath. Breathing in and breathing out. You might feel a sensation like you need to yawn. Sometimes that happens. just allowing your mind to focus on the breath. Breathing in and breathing out. And then notice when your mind starts to wander, and be so excited. Yes, yes, that you actually noticed that your mind was wandering. And bring it back to the breath. You're just breathing. Breathing in and breathing out. Just continuing with the breath. And again, notice if your mind and when your mind starts wandering. Again, be excited. Wow, I noticed my mind wandering. And then come back. Come on, mind, let's go back. We're breathing. Breathing in and breathing out. And then notice that your body is right here with you. My body is here. Yeah. And I am breathing. And then notice the mind. Your mind is always going to have thoughts coming in. We're not trying to push them away. We're just maybe redirecting, coming back to the breath. Ah, there it is. I'm breathing in and I'm breathing out. My body is here, because it is right here. I can feel it. My mind is here, right here. And I am here. All of it. Whatever it is, whatever's going on, I am here. Feeling the breath coming in and coming out. And then just notice the body. Start to wiggle your toes in your shoes. Wiggle your toes. Wiggle your fingers. Maybe do even just like a fake yawn or something, like stretch your arms. Sometimes just stretching your arms either out or up feels good. Maybe you do need to open your mouth a little bit, like that's going to release tension in the jaw. All right. So just doing that. And just notice again, your body is here. Yeah. And that only took us just a few minutes to just bring ourselves back into just our bodies. All right. Because a lot of times when we're anxious, our mind is all over the place. And just by focusing for a few moments on your breath can be such a difference in feeling that you do have some control over what's going on, because you have control of your breath. I am breathing in and I am breathing out. I can do that. And back to that word should. No, I could take a moment and just breathe. Stop, breathe, and just be in this place at this time. And I think that is just so helpful for when we are feeling that anxiety building within us. And so the next time when you have some self-talk, when you look in the mirror and go, well, I really should, and then fill in the blank, cross that, X that word out, should, and think, could, I could do blank. I just feel that that's a lot more positive than using that word should. So as you go through the rest of the day, just kind of looking to see what kind of self-talk you have as you walk around and just kind of you're with yourself. Like, I could do what? Or I, because when you use the word should, I should, and then you ask yourself, well, why? Why should you do that? Because my mom told me, or because someone said I needed to do this, right? And so when you have that, well, maybe that's not working, right? Or someone says, how's that working for you? Not so well. But if you substitute the word could, I could, I could, because then it makes it up to you. Yes, yes, I could. And I will. A little bit different. So just start to think about that self-talk, because I think that is so, so important as we just go through our day-to-day routines and everything, just the self-talk. All right, let's move the body a little bit more. So just kind of, oh, shrug your shoulders up again. Yeah. Oh, lift your heart a little bit. Oh, lift your arms again. This big stretch is great. Lift your chin up towards the ceiling. And this is just stimulating all the organs and glands. Good. And then let your hands come down, interlace your fingers, and we're just going to push our hands forward. Yep. And then you can also just lift them up over your head. Yeah. And then let your arms come down. Good. Take a moment and just notice again, how are you feeling in the body? Good. All right. Let's bring our hands together because that helps just balance everything. And today, I think we're just going to do a little bow inward to ourselves because we've been through an awful lot. And so we're just bowing in and wow, thanks, body. Yeah, today I'm here with all of my stuff right here, right now. I bow to each and every one of you. Thank you.